Hello friends, here I continue with the illustrations on equivalent production from your ICI module. There are only two illustrations there, one on weighted average method, the concepts that we did in the last few sessions, and another on Fifo method which will carry some new concepts to follow. If you ask me, all these questions we have done, 3 questions earlier and 2 illustrations, they are insufficient for your practice for sure. But that is what institute materials carry. So if you want to do it in much more detail, you can refer to my pen drives. You can get in contact with me to get the pen drives and do much more practice for this equivalent production concept, which is very important from your exam point of view. So need to do it in much more detail. I cover at least 5 sessions on concepts in those pen drives, and then I elaborate with much more old exam questions, more questions which are given in different categories. Weighted average method, Fifo method, there is a concept of intermediate process also that we do in those classes. Here I am just covering whatever is given by your institute. So going by this, I am first going to do illustration number 5 because it is on weighted average method which you have already done, and then I will talk about concepts related to Fifo, and we will solve the illustration number 4 also. That is a complete process costing in your institute module. Now going back to weighted average method, what did I tell you? Just recall what we did in the last 2 classes. We are just going to make 3 statements: statement of equivalent production, statement of cost, and statement of evaluation. After evaluation, we will be making a process account which will tally on its own. In this question that I am going to take up today, the illustration 5 and 4 for Fifo, there is no cost classification, no material, labor, overhead separately given. All are at same degree of completion. So only one component of cost is there, that is simply named cost. And equivalent units as regards every item of cost are same. Remember my first example I gave you for computing equivalent production. I am having 10,000 units complete and 10,000 units partly complete. In all regard, they are at same level of completion. So we don't need to make material separately, labor separately, overhead separately, and those costs are not given separately in this question at all. The question will be little different but easy. Easier and smaller question as compared to earlier questions that you have dealt. I am reading it for you. The statement details are given in illustration 4. Because in 5th illustration he says refer back to 4th illustration, solve it under weighted average method. I want to do first weighted average method only. Then I will go on to the Fifo method later on today. So it is given there, opening WIP 1000 units, 60% complete. Degree of completion does not matter in weighted average method. In Fifo method it will matter. I will dictate you later what changes in the Fifo method are to be incorporated in statements. Units introduced during the period 10,000. Cost is given, transfer to next process. Transfer to next process is completed units. Closing WIP given, normal loss given at 10% of total input including opening WIP, scrap realization there. Scraps are 100% complete. If it is abnormal loss, this is useful data, otherwise it is useless data. So what I am going to make? Statement 1. Statement of equivalent production. Now, how many columns should I make? The figure that comes to our mind historically is 10 columns, but no, we don't have material, labor, overhead separately. Instead of 6 columns, we are going to make 2 columns. So total we are going to make is 6 columns. So make it along with me. They are named input, units, output, units, material labor overhead, percentage, and equivalent units. Now input, opening WIP 1000 units, fresh introduced 10,000 units. Total of this is 11,000. Now on 11,000, 10% is normal loss. (10% of 11,000). 1100 is normal loss expected. Now how much is actual scrap is not known. Let it be. Completed units 9,000. Closing WIP 800. Total is 11,000. Now I find balancing figure. 10,900 and 11,000 compared, 100 units is abnormal loss. And remember, this is balancing figure. We compute balancing figure, it is positive figure, hence it is abnormal loss. Negative figure would have represented abnormal gain. Now degrees of completion. Remember, nil. Whatever question says, I will not listen to the question. Completed units 100%. Don't look at answer in illustration 4 because it is in Fifo. We'll do it later today. We are doing weighted average method. Under that, completed units are 100% everywhere. 9,000. Closing WIP, degree completion given 75%. Now 800 into 75% is 600. Abnormal loss, it is written there that scrap was 100% complete. So abnormal loss is 100% complete. 100 units. It becomes 9,700 units equivalent production. Statement number 1 is complete. Second statement. Things are easier because of lesser components of cost. Statement of cost. How many columns were there? Number of columns remains same, 4 as earlier. Element, cost in rupees, equivalent units, cost per equivalent unit. Element, all are together, material, labor, overhead, total cost. Now total cost, which total cost you are going to take? You are going to consider current period cost plus opening WIP cost minus scrap value of normal loss. So I do it here only, you could do it in working note also, that is also correct. You are having current period cost 19,30,000 plus opening WIP cost 1,10,000. It becomes 20,40,000 minus scrap value of normal loss. We computed 1100 units at the rate of 10 per unit. So I subtract 11,000, 20,40,000 minus 11,000. You get 20,29,000. Equivalent units 9700. I am getting is 209.1752 dash dash. This is total cost per equivalent unit. Statement of evaluation. How many items I want to evaluate? I want to evaluate three things. Number one, units transferred to next process at total cost per equivalent unit. Number two, abnormal loss, that is also at total cost per equivalent unit because they were 100% complete. Number three, closing WIP, that is using component method. Simple. Equivalent units taken from first statement multiplied by 209.1752. So things are quite simple. Number one, completed units. 209.1752 dash 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 multiplied by 9000. I am getting is 188257.32. Number two, abnormal loss. 209.1752 dash dash multiplied by 100 units. What I get? 20917.53. And lastly, number three, closing WIP. 209.1572 dash dash multiplied by equivalent units of closing WIP. They were 600. What I am getting? 125505.15. 125505.15. This is the complete evaluations. Last thing that I need to do always is making a process account, which must tally on its own. If it does not tally, there is some problem which we need to always check. Particulars, units, rupees, debit side. Particulars, units, rupees, credit side. To opening WIP. Opening WIP we had 1000 units, 1,10,000 rupees. To materials, labor, overhead. Materials, labor, overheads. You introduced 10,000 units, 19,30,000 is cost you incurred. By transfer to next process, 9,000 units, the cost I got 1882,577.32. By closing WIP, 800 units, 125505.15. By normal loss, 1100 units, 11,000 rupees. The sequence of items does not matter at all. You can put it in any sequence. By abnormal loss, 100 units, 20917.53. Now I need to add them all. If it is tallied, it is perfectly correct. 11,000 here, 11,000 here, that I tallied already. 1,10,000, 19,30,000 makes a total of 20,40,000. 188,2577.32, 125505.15, 11,000 and minus 20,917.53. That is perfect. 20,40,000. This is what we are doing under weighted average method. Under FIFO, concepts will change, valuations will change, process account will still tally with different set of figures which will be applying. So what we are going to do next is concepts related to FIFO, changes in statement 1, statement 2, statement 3 under FIFO method, and then same process account with different figures will tally again. So first I will explain you the concepts and then we will reach the same question under FIFO method. So next we reach concepts under FIFO method. Now first of all, condition to apply this method. Condition to apply FIFO method. We should be given degree of completion of opening work in progress. You can recall in all questions done so far, the degree of completion of opening WIP was totally ignored. In FIFO method, that is a very, very useful thing to follow in detail. Cost details. Details I am saying in question where you are having material, labor, overhead separately. Not in illustration 4 because there only one component of cost is there. But cost details of opening WIP shall be ignored. I am saying only details. Total cost of opening WIP will still be required. Remember weighted average method, there I told you, you need cost details of opening WIP, you don't need degree of completion. Here you need degree of completion, you don't need the cost details. So that is a reverse condition in FIFO as compared to weighted average method. Changes to be followed in FIFO method under 3 statements. I am talking about a general question. I will be making format for a general question. In illustration number 4, however, it is a brief question because it does not carry material, labor, overhead separately. I will first tell you changes, then make the sample statements, then we will get back to illustration number 4. What are the changes? Number 1, statement of equivalent production. Everything in 10 columns, same as in weighted average method, except details of output named completed units. Earlier completed units was very simple. Why it was very simple? You are putting it at 100% material, 100% labor, 100% overhead without looking at the question at all. Now it is not like that. Under Fifo method, completed units shall comprise two further classifications. Completed out of opening WIP, completed out of fresh input. Units which are completed, either they are completed out of opening WIP or they are completed out of fresh input, equals units of opening WIP. Make it sure you are not writing opening WIP in output side. It is units completed out of opening WIP. If you write opening WIP in input side also, output side also, it is confusing. Opening WIP is never output. It is input. But units completed out of it. Now remember, it is first in, first out. Last month I had 1000 units in the vessel to complete. Next month first I will complete them because it is first in, first out. Then fresh input I will start processing further. So first all opening WIP will be completed because it is FIFO method. Then fresh inputs will come into that. If I know total output, subtract opening WIP, you will get units completed out of fresh input. All fresh input is not completed because out of fresh input there is normal loss, abnormal loss, closing WIP, everything comes there. So you need to understand this thing clearly. In first statement, all outputs are same except completed units. Completed units, you have A and B part. A part completed out of opening WIP, B part completed out of fresh input. Now degrees of completion for this. Degree of completion of this output shall be balance percentage. Now what is balance percentage? Equal 100 minus degree of completion of opening WIP. I said I need degree of completion of opening WIP. It is very simple logical thing, no rectification required. If opening WIP was 70% complete in material, 60% complete in labor and 20% complete in overheads. If this was degree of completion of opening WIP, means last year I had already put 70% material. How much material did I put this time? 30%. How much labor I put this time? 40%. And 80% overhead I incurred this time to complete it. So this will come as balance percentage. This is called balance percentage. 100 minus degree of completion of opening WIP. That will be there as balance percentage. Now the balance other ones, units completed out of fresh input is degree of completion 100% material labor overhead. Nothing to read from question, nothing will be given in question for this. The units which were introduced this period and completed also, all 100% work has been done this year. Now simple, when you are making statement of equivalent production under Fifo method, we are trying to determine what work has been done in the current period. If I am determining equivalent production for current period, in statement of cost, cost will be of current period. Means opening WIP cost is not required to be added there. That is a bigger change in second statement. The first statement is done. I am writing now about second statement. Then I will talk about third statement. Then I will make their formats also. Then we will get back to the illustration, the only illustration on Fifo which is given in your institute booklet. Second statement changes. Number 2, statement of cost. I'll do it practically also, don't worry. Statement of cost. It is exactly same format as in weighted average method, except that we consider only current period costs and ignore the opening WIP cost. Scrap value of normal loss remains deducted out of material cost. Number 3, statement of evaluation. All evaluations are same as in weighted average method, except for units completed or units transferred to next process. Completed units equal sum of following 3 items: cost of opening WIP, cost of cost incurred in current year on opening WIP. We use here component method. Cost of units completed out of fresh input total method. This is what I'll elaborate in the illustration that we'll be doing later today. Now what I am doing in the end, before I start the illustration, I am making the formats under Fifo method, which I have already explained. I explained their principles. I am just going to make a format for statement of equivalent production, statement of cost and statement of evaluation. Process account I will not make because it is exactly same. Valuations change, the format of process account remains exactly same. So making the first statement, statement of equivalent production here. Opening WIP same, fresh input same, normal loss computed percentage of either fresh input or total input or production. If it is production, opening WIP plus fresh input minus closing WIP. Abnormal loss I can compute comparing normal loss and scrap, or could be balancing figure. Third item is important because 3 completed units, it will carry A and B. Out of opening WIP and B out of fresh input. Now this is important because that can make all the difference. That is the difference in weighted average method and Fifo method. Now if I am having total completed units, subtract from that opening WIP, I will get out of fresh input. So from there balancing figure I need to get. Then 4 closing WIP and 5 abnormal gain, if any, it will be subtracted. I am writing here all the principles that I have told you. I am writing here in brief the degrees of completion of all. Normal loss everywhere nil. Abnormal loss either given, if it is given percentage I will take. If not given, second priority 100%. Now units completed out of opening WIP, balance percentage 100% minus given degree of completion of opening WIP subtracted from 100%. The balance I will write here because I want to put there what work has been done in current period. Whatever is done in the beginning of the year, 100 minus that is done in current year because it was opening WIP, being Fifo it will be completed first. This is 100% everywhere. That is the difference between weighted average and Fifo because under weighted average all units completed were 100, 100, 100. Here units completed out of fresh input are 100, 100, 100. Units completed out of opening WIP are lesser than 100, they are balance percentage. Closing WIP first priority given. If not given, 100, 50, 50. This is under Fifo we are making. Abnormal gain is always 100%, 100, 100, 100. This is first statement, statement of equivalent production under Fifo method. Statement of cost, as I said earlier, under Fifo method format is same. This is current cost minus scrap value of normal loss. This is current labor cost, current overhead cost. The earlier concepts of adding the opening WIP cost will not be applicable in Fifo at all. So you are going to get current period cost and equivalent units, get from first statement, divide and you will get cost per equivalent unit. It is exactly same. Under statement of evaluation, 3 things are as we did earlier in weighted average. That is abnormal gain, abnormal loss and closing WIP. Closing WIP and abnormal loss using component method and abnormal gain at total cost per equivalent unit. The units completed is most important because it is different. I've told you already, elaborated already. It is total of three things, A, B, C. What were three things? A was cost of opening WIP. B was cost of work done on opening WIP to make them finished goods. That is using component method. And C was cost of fresh input converted into output using total method. So once you do that, you are ready to make a process account which will surely tally on its own. Process account format is same as always. I'll not make it again for you. We are on to the next illustration, last question related to process costing. Reaching out illustration number 4. As I said, there are no different components of cost in this. So it is little easier question to follow, but all principles you will learn from this question. So I'm making first statement of equivalent production. Statement of equivalent production. How many columns should I make? It is input, units, output, units, percentage and equivalent units, because material, labor, overhead are all together. So total 6 columns as you did even in the weighted average method. First 4 columns are exactly same as you did earlier, only change completed units will have A and B. So let us start from input side. Opening WIP 1000 units. Fresh input was 10,000 units. Fresh input was 10,000 units. Total of input side 11,000. Normal loss 10% of total 1100 units. 10% of total opening WIP plus fresh input. It is clearly written there. So it is going to be 1100, 10% of total input. Now I want to write abnormal loss, but that I will receive as balancing figure later on. I get completed units. It is given in question the units transferred to next process 9,000, but I will not put them directly here. I have to put A and B. Out of opening WIP, out of fresh input. It is important to bifurcate them. It is very important to bifurcate them, because that is the beauty of Fifo method. Fifo method is based on this classification only. Now last thing that I am going to put, closing WIP. Now what I should do, I should quantify. How many total completed units were there? 9,000. Out of 9,000, 1,000 must have been completed out of opening WIP. So 1,000 here, 8,000 here. Closing WIP is given 800. The total is 11,000. Balancing figure will remain same as you got in weighted average method. The quantities will not change. Only thing is completed has been bifurcated into out of opening WIP and out of fresh input. Now percentage completions, nil here. No method, no situation will give anything in normal loss. Normal loss is always nil as a percentage to output. Abnormal loss given there 100%, 100 units. Out of opening WIP, look at opening WIP, first line of the question, 60% complete. If it was 60% complete earlier, so they have done this year 40% only, 400. This is 100%, 8,000. Closing WIP, now don't get confused, don't put balance percentage here. This is 75%, don't write 25%, it remains 75%, 600. Add them all, you get 9,100 as total equivalent units. The key change is in completed units, everything else is same as we did in weighted average method today itself. Now, statement of cost. Remain same 4 columns. Element, cost in rupees, equivalent units, cost per equivalent unit. We don't have separate elements, so I'll write total cost, total net cost. How do I get net? Don't add opening WIP, use current period cost 19,30,000 minus scrap value of normal loss. Normal loss units 1100, 10 per unit was scrap. So 11,000 is deducted. 19,30,000 minus 11,000. 19,19,000. 9,100 are equivalent units. You are getting 210.879 dash. I will not approximate. Your institute approximates and their process account does not tally by 200, 300 rupees many times. I will not do that error. I'll keep it till the end in my calculator memory so that I can do evaluations properly. Statement of evaluation. I'll first do abnormal loss. Easier ones. 100 multiplied by 201.879 dash dash dash. So what I am getting? 21087.91. Second, closing WIP. I am doing the easier ones first, as I told you earlier. Closing WIP, 600 equivalent units multiplied by 210.879 dash dash dash. So I am getting is 126,527.47. Lastly, the most important evaluation, completed units. A, opening WIP, cost given there 1,10,000. B, work done in current year on opening WIP. We did balance percentage from equivalent units. That balance percentage means 400 equivalent units were created in current year. Multiplied by 210.879. So what I am getting is 84,351.65. Completed out of fresh input. 8,000 units into 210.879 dash dash dash. Once I multiply, I am getting 1687032.97. You need to add them all. 84,351.65 plus 1,10,000. I am getting is 18,81,384.62. I need to make a process account which must tally on its own. Maximum difference allowed is 1 paisa. That also due to approximation error. Other than that, you will not find any difference. Let's make process account. Last process account in this chapter in these classes. To opening WIP. Opening WIP we had 1000 units, 1,10,000 rupees. To material labor overhead, you had 10,000 units and 19,30,000 rupees. By normal loss, 1100, 11,000. The sequence you can always change. By abnormal loss, by transfer to next process, by closing WIP. Now here transfer to next process is 9,018,813,84.62. Here the classification does not come. Here totality comes. The classification was only for our workings only. Abnormal loss 100 units. You are getting 21087.91. And closing WIP, you are having how many units were there? 800. And the cost we computed was 126527.47. I need to verify that it is tallied. Your institute module keeps on doing mischief. You don't have to do that. Learn it properly so that it is tallied at your end. 1,10,000, 19,30,000. I am getting is 20,40,000. Here I am getting 11,21087.91 plus 1,881,384.62 plus 126,527.47. It is 20,40,000. So it is tallied. It has to be tallied. Process accounting beauty is this, that things will tally in the exam itself, and you will be very much assured that at least your calculations are all correct. If you have not approximated, the students having all ideas about keep on approximating per unit, per equivalent unit, they are going to find it hard in the exams. The institute module easily writes the difference can be due to approximation. No, you have to correct the approximations. You don't have to take approximations, take it till the end in your calculator memory, learn to use calculator and then apply the same in your questions to follow. We'll continue with another topic in the next class.